we've seen a lot of private equity come into the space that are pouring money into marketing firms, marketing agencies like yours, and they could do things nefariously, or they could do things for the right. So where do you think this is going to go?
It's going to be a fun next decade or 5 years.
5 years. It's truncated, I think.
Yeah. I know a lot of buddies that are high up in hedge funds that are still like, what are you talking about? Like, why would we invest in the legal industry?
Then I know, you guys like 20%. How do you like 500%?
Yeah, and then I know other people who are in the industry, and I think a lot of hedge funds, they are, they got all the money, right? Mm-hmm. But they also want it their way, which is also a problem. And I think, they're going to see the ROI. Word's going to get out. Every hedge fund in the world is going to jump into this aggressively. They're going to ruin the cost per case. Everything's going to skyrocket, and then they're going to get out. And then the people who stay and have realistic expectations and then work with companies that know what they're doing are going to stay around.
See, this is one of the reasons why I created Attorney Share, because I knew this was going to happen years ago. And I said, what if we can create a platform where those people, rather than getting paid per acquisition, if they actually were able to get a piece of the pie if they had their own law firm, that would then incentivize you to have the best litigation trial partner for you to maximize the result for everyone, especially the client. And this is where I think it can get, there's so much, this is where the nefarious turn takes, right? Because me with law firm owner, lobbying group, we want lawyers to own law firms. But at the same time, as lawyers are usually not that great at running their law firms from a business standpoint. So what if we had fail-safes in place to have private equity that could come in, or venture capital, whatever, to make it better? And this is me with the 131. These are the three positives. These are my two, well, you say two, but this is the positive that I think it can be, but then you're in reality. So in reality and what I just said, does it give you more hope or less?
I think, I don't think there's an answer there. I think it's right in the middle. I think there's going to be people, I think there's people that are going to come in and completely screw it up. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be people who do it the right way. People who screw it up are going to be like, this industry, I was right not to think about getting into the legal industry. And then everyone else who does it right is going to be happy, right? Like, you got to think mass torts, like perfect example is mass torts versus single events. Car wrecks versus one mass tort. Like, there's great mass torts out there that just fall flat and go nowhere, and everyone loses their money. What's going to happen when a hedge fund puts $100 million into one mass tort that just returns zero? They're going to lose their minds. Like, yeah, $100 million is not a lot for them, but they're a hedge fund. They want guarantees. They want guarantees for their reports to show up. Versus the way we're doing it, which I don't even know if I want to say this, but the way we're doing is we're diversifying a portfolio mostly into car wrecks, but also some really high upside mass torts that we believe will work.
But you
that
believe
way,
in them.
when 4 out of 10 of the mass torts hit, your ROI is insane. And you have your base car wrecks that's going to cover everything else, plus give you 2 to 1, even if everything else fails. So, that's how we're doing it. And I think that's the way, right? Because then you're diversified, you're not going all in. But unfortunately, I feel like it's going to come down to, when these hedge funds come in, it's like they're going to have to pick right on who they work with. Like, yeah, they could run their own firm, but
that's the big part, is they have to pick right with who they work with. 100%.
Yeah, like we're gonna, if we partnered with a hedge fund one day, we're only gonna work with one. They got all the money. Why would we sign up 5 hedge funds? We would work with one, and we would take all our knowledge and expertise and all the litigating partners that we have, all that. And we're gonna funnel the money to them and make the right decisions through all that.
But the right decision for you in all of that is, if you have the client's interests in heart with all of it, that's the only way to win. Because if you do it the other way, no one's going to.
Well, and litigating firms are also going to win there, right?
Yeah. But I'm saying,
having the client's best interests, you have to partner with firms like Tor Herman, who I know is going to take care of this case. I'm not going to just send this to somebody because they say, I handle NEC cases, right? I'm going to send it to people that I trust, I know, I've seen how their firm works, and that's how we would do it, right? And unfortunately, not everybody would do it that way. But yeah, that's how, and honestly, litigating firms, I don't think they should be concerned whatsoever in the next 10 years. Referring firms, they should be a little terrified.
I agree with this. So I think that lawyers that are really good at what they do in their space have nothing to worry about.
Not at all.
Not
If
at
anything,
all.
they should be like,
It's much better.
I'm going to get a lot of cases sent to me, and
It's
I'm
much
gonna
better
sit
for us.
back and
Because with the model that you have, you can imagine finding 50 firms that want to take maybe 50 cases each and want to kill at it that are really, really good at what they do, rather than sending it to somebody that's just going to sit on it and aggregate the cases.
Yep.
So, whew. So Chris, we went around, we went to Louisville, we went to here in Texas with you. At the end of the episode, we always talk about like I'll ask you your Bourbon of Proof, but before that, I want to ask you, we've talked about the 5-year plan of what's likely going to be in the space, but what's in store for Chris Massaro? I mean, you've been in the industry 12 years now, from Dave & Buster's to CEO of TSEG. What's next?
I mean, I'd say it's a tough question, but you guys sent a question out to me, and I feel like it was a good question, right? What's next? Like, what do you want your legacy to be? I feel like was a great question, because I never really think about that. Sometimes you get so caught up in your day to day, and like I swear, most of my meetings I have with my upper management, I'm like, there's just so much shit going on. Like, what are we doing? Like, there's so much shit. But when you simplify it to what do you want your legacy, what's next for you as a person, like I always go back to, I'm a super competitive person. I want to be the best I can be at absolutely everything. Like, I want Brooklyn to have the best and most awesome dad of all time. Like, I want her to go to school and be like, my dad could beat up your dad. I want my wife to be...
I flex for my daughters all the time. I say, whose dad's bigger than me? Somebody else's dad going to be able to beat me up? No, go tell them.
Yeah. Right. I want my wife to be super proud and could talk to anybody and be like, yeah, I made the right choice with my life partner forever. Like, he's going to support me. He's going to be the best dad. He's going to be the best husband. And I want all my friends and family, especially even ones that work with me too, to be super successful. And I think the next step is to just continue that. And that's what Joe really taught me, was care about the people that work with you. Care, and he's the one that, like, when anyone says works for you, like, that's bad.
Correction.
It's work with you.
I agree with this.
They're just as important, if not more important, than you are. And I want all of them to succeed, especially the ones that deserve it, right? Like we talked about, like, not everybody's going to deserve it. Not everyone's going to be a fit. That's fine. I want all of them to be super successful. Whatever path we go, I think we're in a great spot right now with the marketing agency, just partnering with single event lawyers. Like, one of our passions is growing law firms. Like, I love watching my firm spend, in Kentucky, spend $20,000 a month, and then now they're up to almost $200,000 a month, and they're just absolutely slaying it. Loving it. That's a huge passion. Mass torts we talked about a lot. It's a huge passion, and now that we are part owners in a law firm, I think that's another huge next step that we can have, because like you said, we have insight to all these firms. What ways can we make it better?
Yep.
I think all three of those is going to continue make, my life, everyone around me, everyone I love's life that much better, and continue to grow.
Yeah. And now that you got Brooklyn, you'll be a better dad, checking all the products that are in the ingredients of products. So we're going to go right into other ingredients of products. Has she tried her first whiskey yet?
Not yet. She's tried.
Why is she starting so late?
I know. We should have put a little on her gun. She's teething right now, so
you have to. So we took two. So what's your Bourbon of Proof here, Chris? Which one did you like more? Because you never had either.
I think I liked Rabbit a little bit
Let's go to
better.
the rabbit hole.
This is the second one's super smooth and light, easy. But I think I liked the first one a little bit better.
Very flavorful. So they have one that's called, I think it's called like the Derringer, but it's like they do in a cherry cask. That's one of my favorite rabbit hole ones.
I think that seems a little bit sweeter, this one, which is not terrible.
Half-ounce pour to show.
I don't know.
But I like the
this
rabbit
one
hole.
stuck. It might have been just because it was my first bourbon of the day, so it tastes really good.
A 10 a.m. bourbon. Cheers, Chris. Thanks for coming on this episode of Bourbon of Proof.